Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a boastful rabbit. Quick on his feet and full of confidence, the rabbit loved to brag about his speed to anyone who would listen. He'd zip past the other animals, smirking as he went, shouting things like, "No one can catch me, I'm the fastest there's ever been." While most of the forest creatures rolled their eyes and ignored him, one animal didn't: the tortoise. Quiet and steady, the tortoise was the polar opposite of the rabbit. He wasn't fast, and he wasn't flashy, but what he lacked in speed, he made up for in determination. One day, after listening to yet another one of the rabbit's self-centered monologues, the tortoise decided to speak up. Slowly lifting his head, he said, "You may be fast, rabbit, but speed isn't everything. I bet I could beat you in a race." The rabbit burst out laughing. "You? Beat me? That's the funniest thing I've heard all day." But the tortoise didn't flinch. Calmly, he said, "Let's test it then. Pick a course, and we'll see who crosses the finish line first." Now the other animals heard this challenge and scampered over, curious to see what would happen. The rabbit, ever cocky, agreed instantly. "Sure, old slowpoke. This'll be the easiest win of my life." The next morning, as the sun peeked over the treetops, the forest gathered for the race. The starting line was marked with leaves, and the animals whispered excitedly among themselves. The rabbit stretched dramatically for the crowd. Meanwhile, the tortoise stood still, focused and patient. "On your marks, get set, go," shouted the fox, acting as the referee. The rabbit bolted from the line, a blur of fur speeding into the distance. He was so fast he disappeared from sight in mere seconds. The crowd erupted in cheers. As expected, his speed was unmatched. Meanwhile, the tortoise began his journey at his own pace. Step by slow, deliberate step, he moved forward, neither rushing nor worrying. The rabbit, now far ahead, looked back and chuckled. "This is hardly a race," he scoffed. Spying a shady tree up ahead, he decided to take a break. "I have plenty of time," he thought, lying down beneath the tree. Minutes turned into hours, and soon the rabbit fell sound asleep. But the tortoise? Oh, he just kept going. One step after another, his determination never faltering. He passed fields, streams, and finally the very tree where the rabbit. The crowd gasped as the tortoise inched closer to the finish line. Still unaware, the rabbit suddenly woke with a start. Stretching and yawning, he realized the tortoise was nowhere behind him. "I knew this would be easy," he said, hopping ahead leisurely until his eyes widened. There, just a few feet from the finish line, was the tortoise. The rabbit lunged forward, sprinting with all his might, but it was too late. The tortoise crossed the finish line with calm. The rabbit skidded to a halt, dumbfounded. He looked at the tortoise, then at the cheering crowd, and finally hung his head in shame. The tortoise turned to him, his voice kind but firm. "Speed may help you win races, rabbit, but pride and laziness won't. Slow and steady can win when the focus is unwavering." From that day on, the rabbit learned a hard but valuable lesson. Overconfidence can be as dangerous as underestimating others. As for the tortoise, he became an unlikely hero, proving that determination and humility can triumph over even the swiftest competitor. And so, the story of the rabbit and the tortoise became one the forest and the world would never forget.